everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Scholar Chit Chat. I'm your host for today, Joanne, and today we have a special guest who is going to be introducing himself later. So this episode, we'll be talking about studying in Netherlands. Yeah, so if this is what you want, maybe you are curious about how to study in Netherlands, so I advise you, sit back, get your jotter, get your pen, and because you're going to be getting a lot of insights. This is Scholar Chit Chat podcast. And if you're just hearing about this podcast for the first time, like I said earlier, this is Scholar Chit Chat podcast. Here, we're committed to bringing you relevant information about different scholarship opportunities that will help you fast track your study abroad dream. And if you're a returning listener, welcome back. Glad to have you back. So join me in welcoming our guest to the show. He will introduce himself, and I'm sure you're going to get a lot of insights. So like I said earlier, get a pen and paper to jot down. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Joanne. I'm actually excited to have the opportunity to be here and share my experience for everyone. So my name is Wahid and I'm from Nigeria. I grew up in Nigeria and also did my bachelor in Nigeria. So I did my bachelor in zoology from University of Ilorin. And after my bachelor in zoology, I proceeded to do my master degree in biology in Netherlands under African Scholarship Program, which is a fully funded program in Netherlands at Wageningen University. And so far, my research interest has been mainly, though initially, my research interest has changed over time. Initially during my bachelor, though my research interest has always been biomedical, and which is what led me to pursue a master degree in biology where I specialize in health and disease. But currently, I'm pursuing another master degree in artificial intelligence, which is like my main focus now is to work in an industry that's involve application of artificial intelligence in molecular research. So that's basically about my background. And currently, I'm not in Netherlands, but I'm currently in Germany. So that's where I'm up to now.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode. Yeah, so that's actually a very interesting research interest. Yeah. So before I start, I just want to ask, why artificial intelligence?
Oh, okay. So, like I said earlier, my research interest has always been biomedical. And moving to Netherlands is something that changed my perspective, because before I left Nigeria, I've always had doing BS in zoology. I've always had this idea in mind that I want to be a researcher that work in the lab and other stuff like that in biomedical. Upon getting I wasn't exposed to anything computational during that time, but upon getting to Netherlands, then I get my first exposure to computational biology. And when I went for my internship, I did my internship in clinical bioinformatics department, and everything I was doing there was just pure computational. And that's where I fall in love with algorithms, and I was like, okay, I think I know what I love now. And that's why I pivoted into AI.
Oh, that's nice. That's lovely. So out of curiosity, let me just ask, did you apply for zoology?
Anyway, I would say Uniloring does what they always do best. You apply for a different course, and they will give you another course. So that's basically what happened.
Yeah. Okay. This is Nigeria now. Okay. So let's start proper. Okay, to start off, how and when did you first hear about studying in Netherlands, and what motivated you to apply?
Okay, so initially, I wasn't actually targeting Netherlands. Initially, I was targeting UK, and all my preparation was for UK Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. That's all my preparation was for.
Wow.
And along the line, after I'm done with my preparation for my UK Commonwealth Scholarship, I just saw that of ASP, I saw the scholarship, and I read through the requirements, and I saw that I met up with the all the requirements. So I just said, let me just send the application. So, and that's how the whole journey started. Initially, what motivated me is that I already made up my mind that I'm going to, anyway, I'm going to do my master, it's going to be in abroad. Like, when I mean abroad, I mean somewhere in the probably either Europe or in US. So I was so I knew what I was, I knew what I want exactly. So, and most of where I was applying to are mostly in Europe and also in US. I also applied for Erasmus, but yeah, I didn't get that.
I think one thing that a lot of guests that come on this show have in common is that most people were putting their minds in the UK, US, and then they were not really paying attention to other places. But then when they tried, or when they started paying attention to other places, and then it worked for them. I said all that to say that you don't need to put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly.
Yes, so learn how to spread your wings. Don't just focus on just this place.
I don't know if I can maybe I will talk about it later, sure. But what I can say is that if you prepare for one application by yourself, it will be easier for you to use the same knowledge to prepare. It will be easier for you to prepare for any other application, because to be sincere, my Commonwealth Shared Scholarship application was the toughest one, writing about 11 essay. And when I was about to do that for my preparation for Commonwealth is actually the one that helped me to scale through ASP scholarship easily. So I guess if someone prepare for a particular scholarship very well, it will be easier for you to transfer the knowledge and everything you've kind of prepared into applying for another one.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, so now let's talk about the specific scholarship you received and how you found out about it.
Can I go ahead? So basically, after my NYSC, I already knew what I want. I knew I want to do my MSc, and I want to go into something in biomedical, but I don't want to do it in Nigeria. I was so sure of what I want. So during that time, I started to browse online for different places where I can get scholarship and how. So I joined different WhatsApp group, but I won't say that was really helpful because they keep spamming the whole group with different scholarship, but no breakdown. Then there is this particular website I later came across. The website is Opportunity for Africa. So once I type Opportunity for Africa online like this, so it kind of bring different scholarship there. And following some people on LinkedIn as well, that is where I get to know about Commonwealth. So I already know about Commonwealth from people I followed on LinkedIn, and I was so sure that, okay, I want to apply for this thing. But for African Scholarship Program, that of Netherlands, I saw it on this Opportunity for Africa. And when I click it, I read a little bit about the whole thing, and I actually went to the main program website itself for a detailed reading. And that's how I came across the scholarship.
Okay, thank you very much.
And I also think people can also make use of their LinkedIn properly, because after I saw, one of my approaches that once I see a particular scholarship, I go to LinkedIn, search for previous recipients, and I try to connect with at least up to 5, then send a message to them and let them know that, okay, I'm preparing for this scholarship. If there is any help they can give me and every other stuff. And it really helped me a lot.
Yeah, thank you very much for your advice. When I started this episode, I did mention that you need a jotter, paper, and a pen. So if you don't know already, now you know. There's Opportunity Africa, where you can go there, look for different scholarships, and then you come back to Scholarship Chat and check if we have an episode on that. If we don't, you can comment and request for that episode. So that's for our listeners. Yeah, so to the next question now. Let's talk about the scholarship now properly. For those that are not familiar with scholarship, just sharing about it for the first time, give us a bit background of the scholarship, what it covers, what it doesn't cover, maybe application fee, transportation, flights, visa, just so that anybody that is just hearing about for the first time, or somebody that has heard about it but is not sure, So you just give us a bit of a background about.
So the African Scholarship Program, which the abbreviation is ASP. So it's a fully funded scholarship, like from Wageningen University from Netherlands. So, and this scholarship now, since it's fully funded, it covers everything. When I mean everything, it covers everything right from your flights from Nigeria to Netherlands. Everything you're going to need, they cover it. So, but here's the thing. They like during the application, it is like they always put it ASP. But within that particular scholarship, it is divided into two. So we have ASP, which is African Scholarship Program, and we have ABF. So I can't pronounce that because it's a Dutch name.
So, no problem.
But basically the common name is ASP/ABF. So now here's it. ASP itself is a fully funded scholarship. It covers everything. While ABF, on the other hand, it covers everything except your flight from Nigeria to Netherlands. So that doesn't
open for African students also.
Yeah, so ASP is actually mainly for African students, only for African students. ASP is mainly for African students, while ABF is for people from developing country, in which a lot of African country fits in.
Yeah.
So ASP is basically for African students, while ABF is for people coming from developing country. So that's just, and it covers everything, and it doesn't require any application fee. All it needs is your, like, let me say, you writing your essay, preparing your application, and send it, and wait for the next step. So you don't need to. You don't need any application fee.
Okay. So now, I have a question from what you said. We're applying for the admission first before the scholarship.
Yeah. So this is how it works. So first thing is that you have to apply for the admission first, and Wageningen University must have given you admission. So then after you've gotten the admission, all you have to do is just, because the two scholarship is based on invitation. So now there's some things I've noticed during the application, in the sense that I don't know if I have to talk about it later or I can just talk it about now.
Go ahead and say.
So here is it. The scholarship, basically, like, the scholarship is kind of like more focused on people that have higher academic excellence, like first class and a very strong 2-1. So, and here is it now. When you're applying for your for your admission, you have the option to either apply without writing motivation letter or apply with a motivation letter. And I've seen during my own time when I was applying, I applied with a motivation letter. And a situation where two of my friends, one applied with a motivation letter, one did not apply with a motivation letter. The two of them were first class. One was invited, one was not invited. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened within that. Like, I don't know if the motivation letter plays a role. But
so the one that got invitation was the one that applied with a motivation letter.
Exactly. But in the application information, they didn't state that apply for admission with motivation letter. It's not there. But one thing I observe is that those people that apply with motivation letter kind of get invited for the whole thing. And the other person that was also in first class, the same program, but he didn't apply with motivation letter, just upload his old document and every other stuff and send up, and apply, and he was not invited for the scholarship stuff. So that's another thing to take notes. So if you're applying now, I would suggest that to be on the best side, just apply with motivation letter. And then the motivation letter, don't just apply that you are interested in this admission. Also state that you need like you are also interested in ASP scholarship, other stuff like that. So that's
I think we'll talk about the essay proper later on.
Yeah, there's still going to be essay for for the scholarship itself.
Scholarship now. Okay.
So the motivation letter is for the admission, but I think it's also good to actually include you're also interested in the scholarship in the motivation letter for the admission. Because
so since we are talking about the motivation letter, you can just give us pointers, like points that should be included, maybe like how to start, how many paragraphs should it be, just like it doesn't have to be deep, just
is it the motivation letter for
let's talk about the motivation letter first for applying for admission?
So the motivation letter for the admission is very, very simple. Like it's very basic. It's just it's just one page. One page.
Okay.
If I could remember, I just wrote one page, and the line, like I actually started with what inspired me, like what inspired me to want to study MSc biology in Wageningen University, why I want to study in Wageningen University, why I want to study in the Netherlands, and what I aim to achieve. So it's just like normal admission motivation letter. Then in the last paragraph, then I also try to let them know that my interest in also getting African scholarship program. So it's just one page. So that one is just for admission, because even if you don't write a motivation letter for the admission, as long as you meet all the requirements, they're still going to give you the admission.
Okay, so let's say you didn't meet the cut for the scholarship, but you still be granted admission to the university.
Yeah, so that's the difference. Because now that my friend I said that he applied without motivation letter, he was given admission, yes, but he wasn't invited for the scholarship, so he will be in this category of self-funded students. So that's just the whole difference.
Okay, so if you someone finds himself in that kind of situation now, and then you don't have the money to fund yourself, you have to like cancel and try again next year.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you don't have any fund to sponsor the whole program, then you just have to abort. But there's some other external funding apart from the one that is being offered by Wageningen University itself. So we have the one of, I don't know if it is still active, but during my time we have the one of OKP, which is kind of funding from the Dutch government, and we have another one, the PTDF, which is from Nigerian government itself.
Okay.
So I think there's some other fundings apart from the one from Wageningen University.
Yeah, so talk about the selection criteria. You have to be first class or upper.
So
and then we'll talk about
I thought I wanted to speak about the selection criteria.
Okay, yeah.
So the selection criteria, like you have to be a strong, like a first class, you have to be in first class or a strong 2-1, because at the end of the day, they want your CGPA to be in like, if you convert your CGPA to percentage, it should be something like 80% and above. Then number 2 is that you shouldn't have a master degree before. So like that should be your first MSc. Then and also work experience, though they didn't state it there, but from what I observe, work experience also play a lot of role. But the major criteria here is academic excellence, first class. You have to be first class. You have to be you must be from Africa, and also that should be your first MSc. That should be your first MSc program. Your first MSc. And also, you should have applied for the admission before the deadline, because there is deadline for people, there is admission deadline for people that are applying for the scholarship, and there is general deadline for MSc admission. So you should have applied to the MSc program before the deadline. That's another criteria.
Okay, so the question I wanted to ask, did you have to write an English proficiency exam? Is it needed?
Yes. So the English language proficiency exam is basically needed for the admission itself and not for the scholarship.
Okay.
So it's basically because now, as a Nigerian, the Netherlands doesn't really recognize us as English-speaking country, so they require a lot of Nigerians to submit English language proficiency tests, either TOEFL or IELTS.
Okay, so you cannot submit the one from your school?
You see, I think it also boils down to how you're able to persuade them. Because now it's a thing that you can easily mail there is a body called SSC, so you can mail the SSC in Wageningen and tell them, if you try to convince them that you are proficient in English language, I don't know if they will give the chance. But to be on the safer side, honestly, in my own perspective, just write the English language proficiency exam once and for all, because even apart from using it for Wageningen scholarship, you can generally use it for a whole lot of scholarship that at least I feel like it's going to give you more broader reach than trying to use probably a statement from your university that you study all your program were in English. To be on the safer side, one should just write the English language proficiency exam, because I have a personal experience regarding that.
Okay.
A year before I got ASP, I actually applied for scholarship, but that year I didn't have English language proficiency exam, and everything like everything was just rejection with one reservation. Then the following year I tried to write the English language, and I don't know if it's coincidence, but actually like that year I got multiple scholarships. So that's one thing I observe. And so I would just suggest that anybody that wants to apply for scholarship like should just write the English language proficiency exam once and for all. I feel like it will put you on the safer side.
Okay, thank you very much. Now let's talk about the scholarship. Now, after you have been invited for the scholarship, what next?
So maybe I should just walk through right from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, I think it's better. Yeah.
So here's it. Once you like, the first step is to apply for the MSc program. And when you're applying for the MSc program, remember to write your motivation letter along. And and that also, you also need to include a referee. I think 2. So, and those referee, and one of the main thing my referee wrote in the, what's it called? In this one, during my time, like you can upload, like your referee can write it and send it to you in form of PDF, then you can upload it yourself. So when I read through it, most of my referee lay emphasis on the fact that, okay, they lay emphasis on my academic excellence and why I deserve the scholarship, and they even wrote the name of the scholarship in the recommendation letter. So it's not a generic recommendation letter, it's kind of more specific towards that particular scholarship. And my 2 referee, they did the same thing and they sent it to me. So you upload it with you upload your recommendation letter, you upload all the required documents. So after that, you wait for admission, and after getting the admission, then the next thing is you wait for invitation. So when they invite you, the first task is that they're going to give you an assignment in form of essay. So the assignment, like, it's going to be in form of essay, and they will ask you to write an essay. So the main thing here is that the essay change year by year. That is, if they give particular essay this year, they're going to give another essay next year. But one thing I noticed in most of the essay is that everything always go down to this sustainability and SDG stuff. Like it's always about all this sustainability, because Wageningen stuff is kind of, I think it's the most sustainable university in the world. So they are very big in this sustainability stuff. So when you're writing the essay, just make sure that everything you are writing, you are linking it with sustainability. Particular SDG goal, particular sustainability goal. Like, just make sure that whether it has to do with your experience, your future goal, what you're currently doing, just find a link between those experience or what you want to achieve. Find a link between it and sustainability, and how Wageningen fits in as a university that prides itself in sustainable related research. So but basically, if I could remember my own essay, the essay question they give us during that time was about what is the importance of my MSc program to my country, and why do I think I'm an excellent student? Like, why should they choose me, and what kind of contribution will I bring to the program itself? Then what is my career plan after my graduation? And how do I see myself as an alumnus of Wageningen University? Like, something that has to do with my future. Like, how will I contribute to Wageningen in future also? So that's basically what the question revolves around. And in answering so now you have to answer the question like you're writing an essay, though they're going to give number of words that you have to write. But once I noticed that the question changed every year, it changed year by year. So then you submit the essay before particular deadline. Mostly, I think around April. So early March, they're going to invite candidates for the scholarship. And before the ending of March, you're expected to have submit your essay. Then after the essay, then they're going to invite some other people, like those people that they think their essay is quality enough. They're not going to invite them for interview. So interview is the final round, and that interview is basically they're trying to test. So you're going to be in the presence of multiple panel, like they're going to be a couple of people, up to like 3 or 4, that they're going to interview you, and they're going to ask different kind of questions. But most of it will be coming from your essay and also from your CV, because you have to upload your CV during admission. During the admission application, you have to upload your CV as well. So they're going to be asking most of the question from your CV and also from your essay. And what they're trying to see there is that they're trying to connect your CV, your experience. They're trying to connect it with what you've written inside the essay. So, and one of the major thing one has to do there is try to show them the connection and how your previous experience is connected to what you wanted to come and do in Wageningen, and how that is also connected to the future you wanted to go into. And also always remember sustainability. And after the interview, then they're going to select the candidates that they see, and they're going to select the candidate that how will I put it, they actually probably won. And after the selection, then they kind of proceed to how you're going to move from wherever you are living to Netherlands. So that's just the whole process.
Okay, so let's talk about the interview now. You said about 4 people on the panel.
Yeah.
That has to be virtual, Abby?
Yeah, in fact, it's basically it's going to be virtual. It's going to be virtual. In fact, they can do it on a phone call, because I had some kind of weird experience, and a lot of my friends also complain about similar thing. For instance, for me, my interview was virtual, but MTN want to destroy my life that day. But
that was what I was to ask.
My network actually, I don't know what happened. My network just disappeared and everything just went off. So they called me on normal phone call, and they asked me like, do I want to continue the interview on phone call, or they should reschedule the interview to another day. Then I actually I told them that I want them to reschedule the interview to another day. But some of my friends told me that they had similar experience, that I think one of my friends actually did this interview through normal phone call. So
and he got the scholarship?
Yeah.
Wow, congrats. Okay, so thank you very much for that clarity. So now, could you share how you approach writing your essay? What the key elements you focused on, and how to make the essay stand out?
During my applications, I actually have this pattern. I always used to write essay, which is mostly starting with something that's actually probably something that happened, and starting with an experience. So I always link that experience to what motivates me. So I always start with an experience and link that experience to what motivates me. Then from that, then I'm going to link what motivates me to why I need to do this particular MSc, and why I also need funding. Then after that, then I'm going to link it to my future goal, like what I want to achieve in future. And also, now, if I'm not going to talk in the perspective of Wageningen University itself, so here's it, like I try to connect my experience, my past experience, with what I'm currently doing, and from what I'm currently doing to what I want to achieve in future, and how Wageningen can actually come into the picture, and how they can help me to achieve it. And the major role the funding is also going to play in me achieving that my future goal, and also how the future goal contribute to global sustainability, SDG goal, and also is going to contribute to my country development. So, and since the scholarship is about African, you also need to make a lot of emphasis on how the program you are going for is going to help your country development, how you're going to use it to contribute to your country development. So that's also very important as well. So, but my major approach is always connecting my past experience to my motivation, and my motivation to what I'm currently doing, and what I'm currently doing, I'll connect it with what I want to achieve in future, and how that particular institution comes into the picture. So that's basically the kind of approach I always use in writing my essay.
Okay. Thank you very much for those tips. So could you also share tips with us on how to prepare for the interview?
Okay, for the interview now is that preparing for the interview, just make sure that you're the one that wrote your essay. Make sure that you're the one that writes your essay and you understand everything you write and you can explain everything you write, even if somebody wakes you up. That's number one thing. Then number two is make sure that you rehearse. And when I mean by rehearse, find some other people to kind of like practice, like let them ask you questions, let them hold your essay, read it and ask you question. So here's why I said it's important to reach out to previous recipient of that particular scholarship on LinkedIn. So for me, when I finished my essay, I sent it to a previous recipient of the scholarship. He read through it and made some kind of adjustment to it. And after and when I was invited for the interview, we actually did a lot of rehearsal together, like for several times, until when he was satisfied that okay, I'm fully prepared. Most of it is basically based on rehearsing, and also some of my friends that also got it as well. Recently, I also did kind of rehearsal with them, like we did this virtual rehearsal that okay, we talk about like the kind of question that they are likely to ask, then the kind of answer that they expect you to give. So that kind of thing. I think the most important thing is just understand your CV, understand your essay, and also rehearse very well. Like practice for like how to do virtual interview, and probably let other people point out your like maybe places you're making mistakes.
Okay. Thank you very much for your tips and advice. I know these tips and advice will be very helpful. Now to the next question. From your perspective, what common mistakes do applicants make when applying and how can they avoid these mistakes?
Okay. I think number one mistake I think a lot of applicants do make is thinking that they have time.
Okay.
Because one thing I know is that it's important for you to start the whole application as early as possible. Make sure you start it as early as possible. So now, if you start the whole application as early as possible, then it will give you room to always proofread what the essay you've written, and it will also give you the chance to send it to maybe other people or maybe previous recipient of that scholarship, and they too will have enough time to review it before they can send it back to you, because now you're the one seeking for their help. It's not their obligation to review it for you, so which means you have to be patient with them, and they also have other things they're doing. So it's important you kind of prepare for your application as early as possible, send it to maybe some scholars to review it for you, so that before the deadline of the application, they will have sent it to you, and you will have implemented the corrections they've made inside the essay. So I think that's number one. And number two is that when you're writing your essay, try to always link it with some experience that you have. Don't just kind of focus on I graduate with first class. I mean, talk about some of the experience you have. Like, how will I put it? Show them. I would like, it's not like, don't try to tell them you have this, but try to show them in your writing that, okay, I get this, I have this. Take for instance, if you have this particular skill set, don't tell them that, okay, I have this particular skill set. Put it in a way that, okay, I did this, and this led me to having this particular skill set, which I believe is going to be very important for my program. Because why I said that's a mistake is that some essay I review sometimes work like, some people focus more on like, okay, I graduate with this, I graduate at the top of my class, I graduate, and not kind of, they didn't lay more emphasis on what are the things like they pass through, like, whether personal experience or something that has to do with academics. If you notice that I keep talking about like experience and linking it to motivation, because now that one will tell a story compared to just telling them that, okay, it will give them a kind of a story that they can believe than just telling them that I have this, I have that. But so far, common mistake I can say people, the most important one is try and make sure that you start your application early so that you not be in rush when the deadline is getting close. That's what I can think for now.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so for people that just heard about the scholarship when it's almost closing, would you advise they still apply or maybe wait next year to apply?
I'll still advise for them to apply, or advise them to apply. Yeah, I would still suggest that they should apply, but they should, like, in that kind of situation, that person should not have this kind of high expectation from it, but apply for having the experience in a way that if you are invited, it's a win, and if you are not invited, you have the experience already. So by the following year, it will be easier for you to just go through the whole process.
Okay, thank you very much for your advice. Okay, so the next question, for applicants with families, how does the scholarship accommodate dependents, if at all it does? Then if it does, what should they consider when planning their application and move?
You see, from what I actually know, the whole funding is just to fund you as an independent, like as an individual. So whether you want to bring your, like, number one, they do not restrict you from bringing your dependents, and whether you want to bring your dependent, now the cost depends on you, like if you want to bring your dependent. So the whole thing is just like you are self-funded, and this university is the one sponsoring your whole education. You get?
Yeah.
So it's more like they cover like your own cost of, like, the cost that is going, like the cost for traveling from Nigeria to Netherlands, your cost of living, and how you're going to be okay in the Netherlands. But every other matters, like maybe if you want to bring dependent or not, like, no, they do not interfere with that. I think that has to do with you and immigration, so they do not interfere with that. They just make sure that when you get the scholarship, they sponsor everything that you need, that is like, and that is going to help you to settle down properly in the Netherlands. So if you want to bring your dependents, you can bring it easily. And I've seen situations where a lot of people, like, but a lot of time, so you have to be the first person that arrived, then your dependent can then join you later, because now Wageningen University will be the one that is going to book your flights themselves, and they're going to book it for one person. So that's just it. But once you are settled and they start to, pay your stipend, I mean, the only obligation you have next is that you have to meet up with particular CGPA quota. That is, your CGPA must not fall below particular quota. I think it should be 5.6 if I remember. So over 5.6 over 10, your CGPA must not go down below that. So as long as your CGPA does not go below that, I mean, yeah, you are still on the scholarship, and you can carry on with your life. You can bring in your dependent. They do not say that you should, if you have the opportunity to work, you can work. And I mean, they won't stop you from work. There is no kind of limitation from working. You can travel, you can do anything you want. What's it called? It reminds me, like, there is some difference between ASP and ABF now in this kind of situation. So ASP now, like, they don't have any restriction apart from your CGPA must not fall below this particular quota. But for ABF, the same thing. But when you're signing your ABF contracts, it is always there that you have to kind of agree with them that you are returning back to your country after your MSc. But ASP... Okay,
that was the question I wanted to ask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, just go ahead.
So ASP itself, they won't tell you to, like, it is not in the contract that you have to return back to your country. They will give you the option that if you want to stay back in Netherlands, you can stay. And if you want to return back to your home country, you can return. And in fact, if you're returning back to your home country, they are ready to sponsor the flight back. And for ABF now, it is in the contract that you have to return back to your home country. So, and also the interesting part is, you can't choose whether ABF or ASP. They want to choose which one to give you.
Yeah.
So you applied generally to ASP, but the university decide which one they want to give you. Like, I don't know how they do the whole ranking of a thing, but they will give some people ASP, they will give some people ABF.
Thank you very much for your advice. So this particular question, I'm always looking forward to asking. I'm always excited to hear the answers. And the question is, what was your biggest culture shock when you moved to Netherlands, and how did you adjust academically and socially in a new country?
I think I had I experienced a lot of cultural shocks. Some of it actually affected me academically, in the sense that as someone coming from Nigeria, we have this perspective of like, okay, our supervisor, like there is this hierarchy of a thing in Nigeria, you know. If your professor is talking, you can't really talk back. And in Nigeria, your professor is always right. So until when I get to Netherlands and I realize there is no hierarchy, and there is this kind of like almost like you're almost on the same level, like your professor talk to you like you guys are mates, like, and everybody can ask any question, like the way people were asking questions in the class, like, and even if the professor asks a question, even if someone is having stupid answer, they will still say that answer. And professors are always open to argument. And here's how it affected me in the class. I might have a lot of questions on my mind and I'll not be able to ask it, because I'll be like, okay, what if I ask a stupid question? Or what if, or maybe if the professor says something and I have a contrary opinion, I can't even say, I would not want to say it, because I'm like, what if the professor is going to get angry because of this and that? But over time, so I just have to train myself to overcome that. But it's kind of a big cultural shock, in the sense that like the professors are like, so they put themselves on almost the same level with the student. Or one of my experience was, I was having a class, I was using the elevator, and the professor that was supposed to take us was also in the elevator. He was carrying a bag, and so he already, because that's not his first time of teaching us, so he already know me, and so we started to have a conversation. It's even the one that started the conversation, because for me, I was quiet and I don't know what to do, you know, that kind of shyness. I don't know what to do. So he started the whole conversation with me, and that moment I was thinking, should I collect the bag from him or not? I was kind of confused I was confused on what to do, because now if I say I should collect the bag from him, what if it is like, but it's not a kind of thing that is common that you should collect back from a professor or something. But I was like, what should I do? So that was like, then also in Netherlands, people are straightforward. Like they're very, very straightforward. And that also like is going to affect like when you are, because in Netherlands they focus more, or let me say in Wageningen, they kind of lay more emphasis on group work and teamwork. You have to work with a lot of team people from from same departments or from other departments, and they're going to give a lot of team projects. So, and one thing about the Dutch people is that they are very straightforward. So if you are if you are doing something wrong, they're going to say to your face that you're doing something wrong, and it might sound rude, but that's how they operate. Like that's how they actually act. They're going to say to your face that you're doing this thing wrong, and they're going to kind of like challenge you. Why are you doing this thing wrong? All those stuff like that. So that's from my experience. And over time, I think it's I later realized a kind of a nice approach that if someone is doing something wrong or they're not doing what they're supposed to do, like you can't just say, instead of beating around the bush, just go straight to the point without wasting time. So that's another cultural shock I experienced, but at least but most of it I later adapt to it. What other cultural shock? I think
maybe socially outside the school now.
Okay. One more thing in the school is that generally in Netherlands, you can fail a particular exam and it won't affect your okay, if you fail a particular exam, rather, you can take a receipt and maybe you do a particular exam and you score maybe 4 over 10, which means fail. That 4 over 10 is not going to affect your it's not going to affect your CGPA. And maybe when you go and do the receipts, then you have something like 8 over 10 or 9 over 10. Until when you pass that particular exam, that is when they're going to input your final grade. So that one also, like, you know, in Nigeria, coming from Nigeria, if you fail an exam like this till next year, that's when they will say carry over till next year. But in Netherlands, in a year, we always have they always have up to multiple receipts. Like you can have a multiple receipts in a year. And that one actually gave it was kind of weird at first. Like I was like, Wow. So someone can actually resit an exam multiple times, and which is not something that is very common in Nigeria. Then outside the school environment, yeah, people party a lot. I'm not this kind of person. I'm more of an introvert. So
Mm,
people, even a day to exam, you see a lot of your colleague telling you to go outing, and especially like, I mean, your Dutch colleague, a lot of them will be telling you, okay, let's meet up
mm,
here. So people party a lot and they don't stress themselves that much. They don't kind of make school
mhm,
like it's very hard like. So that's kind of another
mhm,
cultural shock,
mhm.
because I don't know, maybe it's my own
That's
mentality from Nigeria that okay, you have to go hard. When you're studying, you have to go. But them, they kind of take it like, something. They don't really make it a kind of hard stuff. Like you just go easy
okay.
with everything.
Okay. So how is the food?
Okay. Yeah. That's another challenges, especially if it's someone that is used to eating more of local food, like Nigerian local food.
Mm,
I think in Wageningen itself, it's going to be challenging because Wageningen as a city itself is not really, really, really big. So there isn't much African store there apart from normal Dutch food, and you're going to eat a lot of bread. They eat a lot of bread there.
okay.
Nigerian food is not that much in Wageningen, or let me say African food
Mm,
is not that much in Wageningen, but you always find somewhere to get it at expensive price.
yeah, no money. Yeah. Okay, so the scholarship covers accommodation, right?
It covers every single thing. It
Okay, so
covers like,
now you have to stay in the hostel.
so here's it. You can stay anywhere you want. You can decide to live anywhere you want to live. Like you can stay
Okay.
in anywhere. And Wageningen itself does not have a school hostel. They don't have a school hostel
Oh, okay.
themselves. But there's some kind of school student building that is being managed by all this private company and every other stuff. So yes, it's the school actually cover your health insurance. So
Okay.
they will already pay for your health insurance for 2 years throughout the whole master program. So which means you don't
Okay.
have to bother paying monthly health insurance. Then they pay you monthly stipend, and from that stipend you pay for house rent, and
Okay.
you also cover your basic needs and every other stuff like
Mm,
that. Then if you have
okay.
a space to work, you can decide to work and also earn some other money.
So, what are some common misconceptions about studying in the Netherlands that you'd like to clarify for prospective applicants? Let me just give an example.
Okay.
Like, some people say you want to go and study in Italy. What do you want to go and get? Maybe it's just pizza. Maybe it's just no, I'm just giving an example with pizza. Maybe it's just most Africans go there for maybe like sex trafficking or stuff like that. So, is there like anything? It can even also be language, like maybe they teach in Dutch, not English. How will you communicate with the locals? How will you communicate with your classmates also? So these are just
Uh,
like examples.
okay, so basically, in my own personal experience, I've not, maybe because I didn't really focus on Netherlands initially, so I don't really have any misconception, because basically every Dutch can speak English. Most of the okay, let me say, maybe there might be anyone that has the perspective that okay, maybe if I get to this country, I might not be able to get by with English. So basically, every Dutch can, or let me say 90% of Dutch can speak English, and a lot of Dutch university, they have English program. Most of the master's program in Netherlands are in English, except majority.
Mm-hmm.
But for bachelor, most of their courses are in Dutch, but majority of master's program in Netherlands are in English. And
Okay.
okay, let me say another cultural shock is, I forgot, but it's very important, is that when you
Mm.
get to Netherlands, another important thing you need to have after having a house on your head is bicycle. So they basically move
Okay.
around. They basically move around with bicycle, which means if you want to go to Netherlands, you need to learn how to ride. So for me, when I moved to Netherlands, I don't know how to ride bicycle, and I had to force
Okay.
myself to learn how to ride it in about 1 week, because
Okay.
around time when we had a course and we had to go to some kind of field trip. Basically, we were supposed to go to other part of the city to show, like they were supposed to show some things. And it's funny,
Okay.
everybody mount on their bike and they start cycling. For me, I couldn't catch up because I don't know how to cycle. At that moment, I knew like
Yeah.
I realized that I need to learn how to ride this thing as soon as possible. So that's another
Yeah.
cultural shock, in the sense that bicycle is the main means of transportation in the Netherlands. Like everywhere you have to go, you have to bike there. It's not that there is no bus, there is car, but most of the road and lanes are designed specifically for bicycle, and it's kind of way easier. Maybe because I'm used to it, shall.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
another cultural.
Yeah. So thank you very much for your time, for your words. So finally, for our listeners, finally for our listeners who are considering this scholarship, what tips will you share with them? Knowing what you know now, what advice will you share with them? What tips do you have for those that are aiming to succeed with this scholarship?
So, my number one advice is that start very early. You don't need to wait. You don't need to wait for when the deadline is close before. Start as early as possible. Reach out to a scholar who is already a recipient, and learn and try to learn from their experience. What do they know, and also share your essay with them when if you are invited for the essay for the first parts. So share your essay with them, let them review it and implement any correction being made inside the essay. And also rehearse for the interview, try and practice and make sure that you understand your essay and also your CV. And also I think another important thing is that try to, before you select your course, try and also explore all the courses in that Wageningen offers, and try and check which one actually aligns well with you, aligns well with what you wanted to do in future. And also, well, at that point you might not know what you want to do in future, so try and also expose yourself, because I think one thing that affected me was that I wasn't really exposed enough when I was doing my application, because I wasn't exposed enough that the computational aspect of of biology. I was more laser focused on applying for another MS in biology, whereas at the end of when I get there, that was when I actually fall in love with bioinformatics. And funniest thing was that Wageningen, they offer bioinformatics MSc, which I'm also qualified for. So I think my mistake was that I didn't explore the course very well. Maybe I could have seen bioinformatics, check the requirement, but I still believe maybe because I don't know much about bioinformatics at that time, not until when I get to Netherlands and I get exposed to it. So that's another thing. But yeah, just take your time, explore the course list, check the one, make a list of different courses. And another thing is that you can apply for multiple courses at a time. You can apply for more, because I have a friend that applied for 2 different courses in Wageningen and was given admission for the 2. And when I think he has to drop one because of the invitation, he has to drop one of the course. Decline the admission and go ahead with one because of the invitation. So, and the scholarship, honestly, it's a great opportunity because it's going to expose you to I will say a word that probably you might not be exposed to before. Really, it's going to give you a kind of a big exposure. The most important takeaway is please start as early as possible, and not just for your own sake, but also people that are going to review your essay and that are going to assist you, so that you'll be able to inform them ahead of time that maybe the deadline is in 1 month, and so they can actually arrange their calendar and see where they can actually fit in, try to create a time for you, because it won't make any sense that the deadline is in 1 week and you're sending it to them 1 week that they should help you to review it. They also have other activities they might do, so that's the benefit of starting as early as possible. If someone is going to be aiming for probably next year, because I think the deadline, I don't know, I think we're still in January, so the deadline is February 1st. So
I think so. Yeah. When does it open? When does it start?
It actually opens, I think, around September, October. The moment the winter semester application opens, it opens. And I think winter semester application always open around September, October. But for me, I started my application in November and I already got my admission by December. So I had a lot of time. Before the deadline.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Wahid, for the inspiring words and insightful words you shared with us today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for agreeing to share your experiences with us. We do not take it for granted. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share my experience, and I hope my journey encourage others to pursue their dream and try and dream big. Yeah, it's important to dream big. Dream big. I mean, anything is possible.
Yeah. So thank you very much. So to our listeners, we hope you found this episode helpful, enlightening, and eye-opening. Remember, the opportunities like these can open doors to different experiences for you and give you a chance to make a real difference in your community, in your country, and the world at large. Like you said, dream big. Until next time, keep striving and stay inspired.